Huh?
It's like if you didn't want to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Hello, Pandora. What are you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Caesar. Good evening. Good afternoon. Hello, Hella. All right. Hi, everybody. Let me just make sure that this is kicked enough. So, yeah, I think that'll be better. All right. I hope everybody's doing well. Today is Sunday, the 2nd of January, 2022. I haven't screwed it up yet. Been 2 for 2 on 2 different days. That's good. Anyway, got some ice and snow here at the homestead, so it's a very pleasant day outside. I took the puppies out this morning, and it had just started snowing at that point, but there was like a layer of ice on everything, so what are you going to do? But anyhow, I wanted to talk to you in this video, and now, first of all, when I have these discussions like this, what I want you to realize, the people that suffer the most in these situations because of decisions made by management, okay? So this is all 100% management's fault. Just putting it out there. There's nobody else to blame. There's nobody else to blame. So, but the people that suffer the most always are the patients. All right, that I want you to remember, or the residents, if it's a nursing home setting. So right now in New York, most facilities are at a 13.5% deficit as far as staffing goes, which is double what it normally is. So normally they're at half that. The RN rate is at 18.3%, which is triple what it normally is. Vacancy rate. This is the vacancy rate, okay? So you have all these hospitals and nursing homes literally scrambling to get staff. Now, before we get into this any further, I want to kind of explain something so those of you that aren't in the nursing field understand. So I was working for a facility, and this is back early in my nursing career, and working in this facility, and I was getting paid. I'm not going to tell you what I was getting paid, but I was getting paid at this level, okay? And the staff that was there, that was hired by the facility, was a lot of responsibility was put on us. I was working an evening shift, which is 3 to 11. I was a charge nurse on the floor, and so you had an RN supervisor around someplace, but you don't always know where they were at, and but they were there. And what happened was, I'd watch these agency workers come in, people working for the agencies, making $5-6 an hour more than I was at that particular time, and without the responsibilities, because they weren't, they were just coming in to fill in a shift, or because the facility was short, and so they had to fill in the shift. But they were making a lot more money than the rest of us. And so I remember at the time going, well, I'm gonna have to look into this agency thing, because this is crazy. So I went, looked into the agency thing, and got hired, and left that facility and went and started doing agency work, because it was like it just paid so much more. You'd bounce around. I worked in a lot of different facilities. Each night I wasn't always sure where I was going to be, but there was always work, folks, okay? Because all these places, especially nursing homes, were always short-staffed. Always short-staffed. This is back. There's always been a shortage of nurses. They never ever have been able to keep up with the demand for a lot of reasons, and we're going to talk about that in this video as well. But the hospitals, you ever hear the saying, you cut off your nose to spite your face? We're going to do a little background history with what the hospitals did. So, first thing the hospitals did long before the pandemic they came up with the ingenious idea of, well, we're not going to hire LPNs anymore to work on the floors and, take care of people. Everybody has to be an RN. So they got rid of all their LPN staff. That's the first thing they did. Stupid. If you have experienced people that know what they're doing, it don't matter if it says LPN or RN. The only difference, realistically, between an RN and an LPN, an RN can do IV push meds, an LPN can't. An RN has had more theory with schooling, where the LPN did not. That's the only difference. I have worked ventilator cases and where RNs came in there and had not a clue of what they were doing, and I had to train an RN how to use a ventilator. So I mean, it's not like, I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm so great. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, unless you've been properly trained and know what you're doing, you don't know. And so if you have an experienced person on staff that knows what they're doing, to get rid of them because the a-hole administrators, okay, decide, hey, you know what, we want everyone to be an RN and not an LPN anymore. So there's your first thing that happened with these facilities. I just read an article, like I said, and that's where I came up with these numbers of what's happening right now. Well, the problem is, and in the article they were talking about traveling nurses, and they were like, and these traveling nurses they're being forced to hire traveling nurses, and they're really gouging the hospitals, price gouging, and it's so terrible. Oh, poor the hospital, right? Because that hurts their bottom line. I don't feel sorry for them at all, because of mandates and policies of which they have put into place. They've caused this shortage themselves. When you fired, there's like 10,000 jobs in upstate New York right now, medical jobs, be it nursing, respiratory therapy, CNAs, whatever the case may be. They're down like 10,000 people right now. So at the end of the day, again, who suffers? The residents suffer, and the rest of the nurses suffer, because now more responsibility is heaped on them because of the being short-staffed. It's a nightmare that you can't win. It's just a nightmare that you can't win. So what happened, because of mandates that were put in place, forcing people to do something that they didn't want, you had a lot of nurses walked. And I have a good friend of mine that was from the Rochester area. Well, right now he's working down in Florida on a contract, being a traveling nurse, and he's making bank. I mean, I'm telling you what, folks, he is making bank. But they've done this to themselves. There's nobody else at fault except these facilities themselves. Nobody else's fault. So again, the patients suffer, the staff suffers because they burn out faster. When you're short-staffed all the time, I'm telling you right now, folks, you burn out faster. But the cool thing about being a contract nurse or a traveling nurse, or agency nurse or traveling nurse, I know when I go into that facility, I'm going to be there for 8 or 12 hours, whatever I've decided that I'm going to work. Not the facility deciding that they're going to force you to stay longer or want you to stay longer. And, it puts us in charge. We call the shots, not them. And they can't stand that. I'm telling you, they can't stand that. But, you've got this latest surge that we're being told about. And so, it's insane. It's insane. And they want us, the, policy pencil pushers at the top, want us to feel sorry for them. I don't at all, because they've done this to themselves. When you fire experienced staffs because they won't put something in their body that they don't want to or shouldn't be forced to, then you've done this to yourself. This is your own fault. Nobody else's. Nobody else's. So because of policies, and like I said, not just this latest one that they came up with, the geniuses that figured that out. I wonder if they're in there working and helping in the hospital. I bet they're not. unbelievable, folks. I'll tell you right now, it's unbelievable. But you know what? There's an old saying: you reap what you sow, right? And that's exactly what's happening right now. And so now they have to go out and they have to hire traveling nurses, making 3 times what the regular staff is. And I'm sure that doesn't cause any division or resentment with the staff, because heaven forbid you want to go and try to get, a 50 cents or $1 an hour raise every 6 months to a year. Oh, how selfish of you. But yet they got to pay these people 3 times what they're paying you. I call that karma. I call what goes around comes around. Alright, so, but again, at the end of the day, what it should be about the patients. And these jerkweeds, I'm going to be nice instead of calling them that. We'll call them the jerkweeds. Administration. Who don't lift a finger. Who don't go out on the floors. Who are not doing patient care. I will tell you what, I was working, I got hired, and this, I was out of that job quick. So, I got hired by this nursing facility, and they had been a state facility, but they got bought out by some corporation in New York City. And they had what they called staffing minimums. And their staffing minimums were very unsafe. Very, very, very unsafe. And as a nurse, when you were agreeing to work these staffing minimums, you're basically putting your license on the line. That's what you were doing. And I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. Generally, each floor is probably a 48 bed. Is it 48? I'm trying to think. I think it's a 48 bed unit, each unit. So you got night shift, you have 1 nurse because everybody's sleeping. Evening shift, you have 2 nurses. And in the day shift, I think you have 2 nurses as well. And maybe in a day shift, you might have a treatment nurse as well. But you're moving. With passing pills, and everybody's getting a myriad amount of pills, and treatments, and trying to get everything done. And these folks, they want to be in bed at a certain time. Well, this facility, and I won't say the name of the facility because it doesn't matter anymore, but they came up with this ingenious thing that it was okay to run a 48 bed unit, that the minimums for CNAs on an evening shift would be 3 and not 4. Normally you would have 5, okay? But they, in their ingeniousness, decided that it was okay that if it was only 3. And I'm gonna give you, so I'll tell you something that had happened. And then with the nurses, if like one of the evening nurses didn't show up, they would be like, okay, the other nurse has to do the whole floor, 48 residents, by themselves. So you're gonna get paid as 1 person to do the work of 2 people. And then it's your responsibility to get everything done. It's impossible. I mean, people were doing it, but it was insanity. And then you got your nursing notes and everything else that goes along with it. And then heaven forbid, if somebody codes or falls or whatever, and you got to stop everything else to take care of that person. It was just very unsafe. Very, very, very unsafe conditions. So I'm going to give you an example of something that happened. And I wrote it up, and they did not like the way I wrote it up when I did my nursing note, because here's the thing. When you do a nursing note, that is record. That is locked in. So we had 3 CNAs on this particular evening shift. 1 CNA realistically was useless. She was useless. The other 2 were really good, strong CNAs. So I was very fortunate in that aspect. So what happened was everybody, after they have dinner, these folks want to go to bed. They're tired. They're older. They don't want to stay up. They want to be in bed. Well, a lot of them need to be put into bed. So the 2 strong CNAs were putting all the Hoyer patients into bed first, and the other girl was starting to put different people in bed. Well, this one woman had asked, to be put in bed like 3 times, and they were like, "Honey, we're going to get to you," because they were doing the best they could. Well, she ended up falling because she was trying to put herself into bed because she wanted to go to bed. She fell and she shattered her elbow. And I'm talking shattered her elbow to a point where it was not going to be repairable. That's how hard she hit, okay? And so when I wrote it up of what happened, I wrote in my note, due to being short-staffed. And that's exactly the reason why that happened. No other reason, because if they'd have had normal staffing of at least 4 CNAs, then they would have been fine. But they didn't. They were so pissed that I put, no, the minimum staffing, the criteria is 3. I go, that's not safe. So they didn't like me for that one. I was not there long, because the first time they told me, yeah, you got the whole floor by yourself, I told them no. Refused to take the whole floor by myself. I said, I'll take this side, you figure out how you're going to do the other side. I wasn't doing it. I was not risking the safety of my residents, the safety, or my nursing license as well. Not doing it. So I'm telling you folks, these type of things happen all the time. Guess what? That facility that I'm talking about, still up and running. I'm sure her policies didn't change, because that's bottom line, that's money in their pocket. So if they can get the work done with less people, they don't care. They don't care how stressed you are, or how burnt out you are, or how bad your back hurts. They don't care about none of that. So, you reap what you sow. When you treat people like crap, when you don't take care of your staff, they're not going to stay. And when you make up ridiculous policies that hurt the residents, that's your own fault. That's your own fault. So I want to hear your feedback. I want to definitely hear from my fellow nurses, CNAs, respiratory techs, anybody working in a hospital setting, be it from maintenance to janitorial staff. I want to hear from you guys. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. You know what the thing is, folks? You watch the comments on this video, and you're going to see over and over and over and over again, don't matter what part of the country it is, of people saying, yep, he's right, yep, he's right, yep, he's right. Been doing it for 30 years. I know what I'm talking about. So, anyway, folks, I am going to jump off of here, but before I do, real quick, I want to talk about my website, preppernurse1.com. We have the Prepper Nurse One community there, which is a resource that we've set up for you guys to be able to connect with like-minded people. Also, it is free to join, but you do have to register. Once you're in, you check out the message boards or look for somebody in your state or in your country. The second thing is we have the Forefathers, the CBD, and hemp store. So if you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, you will see the Forefathers logo. You click on that, it will take you to their website. Once you're there, if you decide to make a CBD or hemp purchase, make sure you use the discount code PrepperNurse1, and that is the number 1, not O-N-E, okay? You'll save 15% on your purchase there. Last thing I want to talk about is the Legacy freeze-dried foods. So if you go to my website, preppernurse1.com, you click on store, it will drop down, you will see Legacy. Click on Legacy, it will take you to the store within the website. What we have is what we have there, alright? Definitely take advantage of that. Freeze-dried food is a good thing to have, especially in your long-term preps. GMO-free, gluten options are available for those that need it. It is vegetarian, but there are beef and chicken options that can be purchased separately. Largest portion size of any of the other freeze-dried food companies, and I couldn't say that if it wasn't true. So definitely take advantage of that. Okay, it's a good thing to have. Remember, folks, we are all in this together. I don't care how many times somebody in the comment goes, "No, we're not." We are. We're one race called the human race. Okay. And again, I don't listen to that negativity. Just so you know, for those of you that say that we're not, we are. Just because you may not feel like you are, that's all right. You go off in a corner and see how well you do when it all comes down. Remember also to hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life, so it's really important that we tell the people that we care about every day how we feel. Last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you are trying to accomplish, you can do it. The only person that's going to stop you from getting there is you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay positive. Stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. I can see that fire's kicking. I can see it in the lens. I knew it was kicking now. Nothing like it, folks. I'll tell you right now. That heat from a wood stove is absolutely the best. So, anyway, I am going to jump off of here for now. I hope everybody's having a great day. Please be safe. Go Cowboys today. So anyway, I hope everybody's doing great. And I will see you all tonight, 8 o'clock. I will be live streaming. So please join me tonight for that. And we'll have a good discussion. Alright? Topic to be determined. I don't know what the topic's going to be yet. But stay focused. Keep going. Alright? I will talk to you all later. Prepper Nurse 1 out for now.